and that will help us wrap the show up. Which infield position of first base, second base, third base gets the most money allocated to that position this offseason? It's not going to be a
Oh,
lot of money,
it's not. It's gonna be
but
about
what's your
$30
prediction
and a
here?
fork made out of salt. But
Ah,
uh, it. I think it's gonna be third though, because
really?
I live in delusion.
Okay.
It's a great state to be in. No income tax. Um, and I think bring me Breggy, please. I'll forgive him. I'll forgive him for 2017. Just bring me Bregman, please.
And then something that was like a
Is he on that
no
team?
conversation for me was I've had people ask me, well, would Seattle be able to handle having a former Ash? I think they'd care at that point with how
No, yeah,
depraved this fan base has been of like bringing in legitimate upgrades. Like I think they'd be more than happy to welcome Alex Bregman here. Honestly, if I don't think that's an issue. I really don't. And if there are fans who are going to boo the guy, they're just clueless. Those are the fans
yeah,
bringing in the Dustin Ackley jerseys unironically.
yeah.
Like, you know, I just I am, I think they could handle that, but it's also such a like unlikely thing that I don't even know if we need to have that conversation, right?
Yeah, like the way I see it, the Astros cheating thing is funny more than it's anything. Like, yeah,
Mhm.
boo Altuve and everybody like when they come visit because that's fun. It's funny, but like if you
Haha,
get
funny.
if like we get Altuve on our team, all is forgiven. Like I'll love the guy forever. Because it's a game. And sometimes you just gotta go, oh yeah, they had like a complicated system where they were um like using high resolution cameras to steal signs and then decided the best way to communicate that information was to bang a trash can. That's really funny. Come on. That's awesome. Like you gotta respect it on a certain level. And yeah, boo them when they're on another team because that's fun too. And when they come here, you start wearing T-shirts that say "Bang Bang" because it's funny. Uh,
Yeah. I just that's the thing too is I'll interact with people during those Houston series where it's like, aren't you tired of this? I'm like, I like you said, I just find it amusing. I was like, oh, I'll
yeah,
be right, like I'll be the last batter, I'll be putting in my scorecard. I'm like I'm
yeah,
writing like a
exactly.
backwards K because George Kirby has fanned 18 players at that point and they're still trailing by two. And I'm like, Jose Altuve got booed again. Like,
Hmm.
you know, more amusing again to me than anything else. So,
Yeah.
but third base, yeah, no, I mean, that is the one of the positions I do think they are the lacking the most in,
Hmm.
whether it is internally or like a situation that makes sense because, first base, you probably like at least how it's looking now is Luke Raley. Um, which I like Luke Raley, don't get me wrong. And
Yeah.
people were all like, when Brittany and I talked about first base, they're like, aren't you forgetting Luke Raley could play there? I'm like, no, but they should have upgraded anyway. Like Luke
Yes.
Raley, how I've described Luke Raley and Dylan Moore are they should be the first guys that come off a contending team's bench, in my
Yeah.
opinion. Like
Yeah.
they can do it all, don't get me wrong, and they'll have their Linsanity runs, but they shouldn't be 140 game players.
Hmm.
Realistically, and it's no discredit to them, but that's just kind of where they're capped out at. I know Luke Raley's semi-young, and so maybe I don't know, maybe he has a gear and he is your first baseman somehow.
Is he
You
at
know,
Driveline this winter?
I mean, I should install a Ring doorbell camera there and just see who comes in and out.
That's a good
But I
idea.
have not seen that. To be fair, so I'm not sure. Um, but you get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I, in the second base, I've talked about the trifecta of the Demo, Ryan
Hmm.
Bliss, Leo Riva. Like those guys are fine.
Yeah.
Third
I
base,
think
though, I'm like, what do you do there?
yeah, the second base thing, I think that's the most likely thing we're gonna get is that kind of three-man platoon. Third base, I gotta hope they have a plan. I gotta think they have a plan because they got rid of Josh Rojas, who was the best third baseman in baseball for the first 3 months of the season.
They said, Josh, we're not. What was? Do you have an option? Or what was it? They said, no, we don't want to do that. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he hit really well at the beginning of the year, which was fascinating.
Hmm.
Um, and they were just putting, oh yeah, I remember because I was in Minnesota when they threw him in left field, and they were saying, "We just need you in the line. Like we
Yeah,
want you out there." And I was like, "Oh
yeah.
Jesus Christ!" And he played like Gold Glove defense for the remainder of the year.
Hmm.
Um, 'Cause Perry Hill is Jesus and works all wonders, but gets annoyed
Yes.
at the bots on Threads. I see that now. I'll open Threads, and he's like, it's the bots that are like, "Don't you want to be my friend?" And he's replying, "No, I do not." I'm like, Perry, just leave him alone. God bless
I've
Perry
had
Hill.
Perry yell at me before, so I understand what it's like
Mm.
to be on the receiving end of Perry's social media frustration. Love the guy. He's the best.
But yeah, you look at the available third baseman, and it's Bregman, who, you're speaking different tax bracket here. You look at Yohan Moncada, who Brittany and I have talked about, and you're essentially kicking the tires there, right? That's
Hmm.
reclamation project. Um, and then the spot track's being weird for me, so I can't sort by third baseman. But it like we go down the list here. Nicky Lopez. I mean, do you
Mm.
want to, you lost Josh Rojas to the White Sox. You could then take the White Sox, an infielder from the White Sox, and Nicky
God,
Lopez,
I forgot
um,
he's on the White Sox. He doesn't deserve that.
former Mariner, former organization. I don't know if he ever debuted here. Patrick Wisdom, who had some years with the Cubs, that's for sure. Um, yeah, it's just not great as you continue things down the list here. So
Yeah.
yeah, Jace Peterson, Jesus Christ. Um, it's not great, Jake.
Yeah,
Brian
but like
Anderson, you remember him?
I do. Yeah.
So
I
yeah.
mean, maybe this is just totally delusional, but like the only guy there that's actually an upgrade from Josh Rojas is Bregman.
Mm,
So if they're moving on
mm,
from Rojas,
mm.
they got to be going after Bregman, right?
I hope. I don't
I
know.
mean,
I haven't heard anything
I haven't heard
tied to
anything
him.
either.
There
I'm
was the John
totally
Heyman
delusional.
throwing like spitballs at the wall and him
Oh
being
yeah,
like,
but
"Oh, well, if Arenado does not sign a deal, well, not sign a deal, but get traded to the Red Sox, he could go to the Mariners." I'm like, I could grow my hair back. It seems unlikely,
it's the
you
off
know.
season for everybody. We're all got to make content somehow.
Yeah. And I had someone be like, "Oh, it's Heyman, lol." I was like, I'm grasping at straws here. I'm giving anything. Like sometimes I just do it because people don't see those things. Like the Kraken had a
Yeah.
thing last night where their CEO was at their game on the road and he never does that. And people are
Hmm.
like, I was like, oh, like it blew up. Uh,
Yeah,
like we
I
don't
saw
get too
that.
much traction on Instagram, and we had like that blew up, and I was like, oh, because people don't always see it, so that's why I do that. But yeah, it's get rough out here, so I don't know. So I don't know. That is something that there are some of these things where I'd like to look back on it, see if they do in fact allocate that much resource, those resources to third base if a Justin Turner does come back, and if Austin Kitchen in fact cooks out of the Mariners
Hmm.
bullpen this upcoming year, or Emerson Hancock comes out of the Mariners bullpen, and I send Jake just a text that says "son of a bitch." So
I mean, you do that anyway, pretty often actually.
I do, yeah. It's those like faux worst boss in the world, like dramatic, put like black and white over me.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
sends me "son of a bitch"
yeah.
text.
Censor bar
Dun
over the
dun.
eyes. Yeah.
Yep, yep, you get it. So yeah, this is what January 13th, 2025 episode of Mariner Mondays. This is being recorded on Sunday. So if something happens later tonight, I'll figure it out. We'll do something.
Well, we'll
Um
sit down for an emergency addendum. We got Bregman. Woo!
yeah, and I'll find some party poppers and do that because at that point that would just be the biggest thing that they've done all off season and
The
probably over the
biggest thing
last
they've
two off
done
seasons,
since
honestly.
getting Randy. Yeah.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. So anyway, yeah, that'll wrap it up. I'll see you next time. Take care of yourselves. Be well. Do whatever you can to make today a great day.
Hey, Charles.
Hey, Jen.
Hey, how about those M's?
Oh, I'm excited.
I know. Where are you going to watch all those away games, though?
Away games. Huh. I was thinking of coming here since, after all, Rough and Tumble is the home of Circling Seattle Sports.
I love that idea. Hope to see y'all here.